Hi there, I'm Vincent Boss and I provide dating and self-improvement advice. And in today's podcast, we're going to be discussing dumper friend zone. I provide audio and email coaching to help people try and get their ex back or get a new girlfriend or boyfriend. Check out my website for more details, www.dateme.tips. Please check your spam and junk folders if you are expecting an email from me. So now let's get back into today's podcast, and today we are discussing dumper friend zone. If you have been dumped and want to try to get your ex back, it's very exciting if you receive contact from your ex. However, you will then wonder whether their contact is from a place of friendship or romantic interest. Avoiding the friend zone is crucial for anyone who has romantic feelings. Whether this is your ex or someone new, you do not want an active platonic friendship with someone you have romantic feelings for. In today's podcast, I'm going to be answering 3 crucial questions that dumpees have regarding their ex and the friend zone. So let's get straight into this, and question number 1 is, why is being friends with my ex bad? Well, there is nothing wrong with being friendly, polite and respectful with your ex. But if you have romantic feelings for them, you should not engage in an active platonic friendship. This means that you shouldn't maintain daily or weekly contact. You shouldn't engage in social activities online or in person, and you shouldn't consider them as someone to rely on or be relied on yourself from them. The reason for this is that if you accept a platonic friendship, then your ex will treat you as a platonic friend and continue to date new people. You would then certainly hear about this and quite possibly see it with your own eyes, as your ex would see you as a platonic friend, and therefore in their opinion they should be able to speak to you about their dates and maybe even bring their date along when you meet up sometime. If you still have romantic feelings for your ex, this will break your heart again and again and again. If someone has already defined you as a platonic friend, it's incredibly hard to change that perception from within the friendship. The best way to escape the friend zone is to try and change their perception of you from a distance. So this is why it's not a good idea to have an active platonic friendship with your ex if you feel romantic feelings for them, because ultimately, if they see you as platonic, they will have no problems in speaking to you about their new partner, their dating life. They will have no problem in introducing you to their new boyfriend or girlfriend, and they will think nothing of it. They will just see you as a platonic friend, and they will continue with their dating life. So if you have secret romantic feelings for your ex, and you're trying to keep them quiet because you think, I'm just going to have this platonic friendship with them, and I'm going to try to change things around from there, well, unfortunately, the likelihood of that working is very, very low. And instead, you will just have to put up with hearing about your ex's dating life and quite possibly seeing it as well. And this will just break your heart. So it's just not worth it. It's not worth having an active platonic friendship with somebody if you have romantic feelings for them. And ultimately, this doesn't matter if it's with your ex or with somebody new. If you have romantic feelings for somebody, you cannot have an active platonic friendship with them. And when I say active, I'm just meaning that you are maintaining this friendship on a daily or weekly level. I'm not saying that you can't be friendly if you bump into each other. You can't be friendly with the odd message here and there, but you can't actively live out this friendship like you do with your friendship circle, because it is just not going to be helpful for you. It's going to break your heart over and over again. So now let's get into question number 2. And my second question in today's podcast is, if my ex contacts me, how do I know if it's from a place of friendship or romance? Now, this is a great question because many dumpees will really celebrate the day that they hear from their ex. And when it dawns on them, is this from a place of platonic friendship or is this from a place of romance? And how can I find this out? Well, you want to be following my technique as the best way to understand whether your ex wants to try to regrow a connection or whether they just want to maintain some type of friendship, some type of pen palship, something that isn't what you want. So my suggestion is that if you hear from your ex, if you receive contact from your ex, then you reply to them and add a question on yourself. So whatever they ask you, reply to that and then ask a question yourself. You want to be growing this conversation, and you want to be engaging in a conversation which is 4, 5, 6 texts long, because the likelihood is that your ex is going to contact you via a messaging platform. It is unlikely that they will contact you via telephone or any other kind of audio system, and it's very unlikely that they will knock on your door. Most likely is that they will send you a text message or some type of message via a messaging app. So if they do, answer their question, send one back to them, and engage in a conversation, making sure you wait for them to send the next message. Imagine it's a game of tennis. You hit the ball to them, they hit the ball to you. You hit the ball to them, they hit the ball to you. So if you reply to them and you ask a question, you're trying to grow this conversation, if you don't get a reply from them from that, then you don't continue, you don't double text. So if they message you, you reply, you ask a question, and you then wait for them to reply again. You want to be doing this for 4, 5, 6 messages, and then at that stage, you want to be suggesting that you meet. So if you're thinking to yourself, right, okay, well, when do I ask to meet? Well, just put it a little bit into the future. So if this is, say, a Tuesday or a Wednesday, say to them, are you free to meet at the weekend sometime? Just something casual in your own words. If you're not quite feeling the vibe on meeting, if it doesn't quite feel strong enough for that, then do a similar thing, but offer them a phone call. And then you can see if you can get this phone call. And then if you have a phone call, by the end of a call, you then want to be asking them to meet physically as well. The alternative to this is from a phone call, you then ask to have a video call. And then at the end of a video call, you ask them to meet. Now, if you can't meet, if the distance is too great, or if there is another reason why you're not allowed to meet, then a video call is the ultimate option. It is the second best thing you can do after a physical meet. But the main thing is to try to meet. So after 4, 5, 6 messages, ask them to meet a few days into the future. And they will either say yes or they will say no. They might say no in the respect of they say, I'm not sure, I'll get back to you. But ultimately that is a no. Okay, so it's a yes or a no. Now, if they're saying no, if they're saying a variant of no, then stay calm, stay stable-minded, just say no worries, and then engage in another couple of messages, change the subject, 2 or 3 more messages, and then put to them, look, it's been great chatting, but unfortunately I've got to go, I'm a bit busy, hope to hear from you soon. And at this point, you go back into no contact. And if you're wondering what no contact is, I've done many podcasts on the subject. Please subscribe and ring the bell for notifications so you can check out all of my content explaining how you even get to the stage of hearing from your ex. You might be thinking, well, I've just been dumped. What do I do to hear from my ex again? Well, make sure you check out the rest of my podcasts. That will lead you to the point that we're speaking of now. So if your ex says, yes, I do want to meet, then obviously you just go with the flow at that point, and we're not really focusing on what happens when you meet in today's podcast. That is just something to celebrate, and you can move forward from there. So going back to if they say no, you stay chilled, you stay relaxed, you say no worries, 2, 3 more messages, and then you say, it's been great chatting, I've got to go, I'm a bit busy, hope to hear from you soon. You then go back into no contact. And you never contact them again unless they contact you first. Your ex then has a choice. They can either drift off into the background or they can contact you again one day. And quite often that is exactly what they will do. And you want to be following this pattern. And what you will find is after 2 or 3 reach outs from your ex, they will either meet you or they will drift away forever. Now, if they drift away forever, that is not a bad thing because that showcases that they was only interested in having a text-based friendship. They was only interested in having a pen palship. They was only interested in something platonic. So you have not lost anything because of the basis of question number 1 that we answered. You don't want to have a platonic friendship with somebody if you have romantic feelings for them. So you can really find out if that is all they are looking for, because they will never want to meet. Now, if they do want to meet, that is not a guarantee that they want to get back with you. That is not a guarantee that they want to be romantic with you once more. But it's certainly a step in the right direction. And once you get onto that meet, that is when you can try to decipher things fuller based on the interactions that you have in person. But you can really start to sieve out the people who don't want a romantic relationship quite early on by finding out whether they even want to meet. And by doing this system that I've just suggested to you and the answer to this question number 2, you will find out quite quickly whether somebody is really interested in meeting or not, whether they really want to progress things or not. Because if they say no 2 or 3 times, they will likely drift away forever. And therefore, you know your answer. Sometimes, though, it might take a few of these instances before they realise that they do want to meet you, and you can hopefully progress things further. Now, you might be wondering, why don't I just give them an ultimatum straight away? Why don't I just say in the first message, look, do you want to meet? Because if you don't want to meet, I don't want to speak anymore. The reason you don't want to do this is because it comes across as aggressive, and ultimatums are never helpful. It's much better to use the technique I suggest because it's more subconscious, it's more subtle, and it gets you to the same result anyway, without you having to come across as somebody who is angry. So my suggestion is to use the advice that I've given to you here for the answer of question number 2. So now let's get into the third question and the final question of today's podcast. And this question is, if my ex says that they want to be friends with me but nothing more, what should I say? So if you get to the position where your ex makes it absolutely clear all they are looking for is a platonic friendship with you, you're probably thinking, well, what do I do at this moment? What do I do if they absolutely make it so clear that they only want platonic friendship? They'll probably say to me, look, I'm only looking for a platonic friendship with you, nothing more, that's all it can ever be. I only want to be friends with you. I really miss you as a friend, but nothing more. What happens if they say these type of things? If you are backed into a corner like this, then you have no choice than to take the question head on, and you will have to answer what they are asking. You can't play the long game with this, and there is no way really of trying to take things in a softly approach. However, I would make sure that you say in your own words something which comes across as positive and relaxed. Do not sound agitated, do not sound angry, do not sound bitter. In your own words, say something along the lines of, I'll always see you as more than a friend, and therefore I think we should leave things for now. If you would ever like to chat, then please get in contact. And that kind of gets that message across to them that you will always see them as more than a friend, and you're not willing to have an active platonic friendship. However, if they would ever like to chat, then they can get in contact with you. If and when they do, you use the system that I told you about in question number 2. The reason why you don't make it even more obvious to them and by saying, look, only contact me if you change your mind, is that it adds unnecessary pressure. That would not actually be the worst answer in the world, but just looking at things as I do, I think you want to give yourself every possible chance. And anything I think that can give you just 0.5% more chance, I will suggest to you. And if you just say, look, if you would ever like to chat, then get in contact, you already know that from my answer for question number 2, you're going to be quickly deciphering if they don't want to meet, you're not going to be speaking anyway. So this is not really going to put you out in any additional sense. Hopefully the answers to these 3 important questions will help you on your way to a more successful and happier future. If you believe that this podcast has helped you, then please consider buying me a coffee. The link to do so is in the description.
Yeah, if you miss your ex, we can help with that. Help you get him back, or we can help find you someone else. Yeah, Vincent Bo, the relationship coach, giving you some insight, bringing you a new approach. DateMe.tips, go and check the site, giving you advice, helping with your love life. Get your ex back, or move to the next. Ain't no sweat, you know Vincent Bo got you. Finding love ain't no problem. Yeah, DateMe.tips, check it out now.